Got two new consumer direct bikes, State from this great state of Arizona where I'm spending a week, and the new Lauf Úthald, the new road bike from the Icelandic company. Both are consumer direct, both punch above their weight in terms of price and capability. This guy starts for $900 in the aluminum version. You can get the carbon bike starting at $2K or this build for $3,000. The Úthald you can get with SRAM Rival starting at $3,600, and this Force build with zip wheels, Quark power meter goes for $4,700. I'm going to be testing these on a variety of rough roads, dirt roads, a little bit of trail. Here in Tucson, I'm staying at the Cycling House for their mixed terrain gravel week. Gonna test these guys back to back, see how they go. Arizona is great for bike testing because A, it's usually quite warm, and B, although pretty, the roads can be kind of rough. A lot of the pavement has some serious cracks from the freeze-thaw cycle. Also, gravel washboard's no joke. Always a good test of tires, bikes, handlebars, seat posts, and saddles. You'll find out what you like and what you don't like pretty quick. On the docket are rides in Saguaro National Park east of Tucson, up and over Gates Pass west of Tucson, a gravel day way down south in Patagonia near the US-Mexico border, and then a day up the mighty Mount Lemmon. While usually warm, Arizona can throw some curveballs, with rain turning sandy dry washes into creeks and rivers, and snow shutting down the road up said mighty Mount Lemmon.
Come to Tucson in February, they said. Yeah. It'll be warm and sunny, they said.
You might get hailed on.
Oh.
You got good spirits, it don't even matter.
Oh, hail.
Oh, hail.
Still riding bikes, though.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Hell yeah. We're pedaling, we're going, we're doing it.
While gravel here is relatively new to me in the last 3-4 years, I did some road stage racing here going back, I don't know, 20-25 years. Back in the day, racing up Gates Pass, you know, it was 53, 39 chainring. You know, the biggest cog was 21, maybe 23. One thing I love about modern road bikes, the gearing options keep getting wider, the tires are getting wider. So, you know, we're biggering in it now, in a smaller biggering. This is Lauf's first road bike. You're probably familiar with their gravel bikes. I apologize, I've been butchering the name of their newest gravel bike, the Segla. I've been calling it a Sigla. My apologies. While this isn't billed as an all-road bike, it certainly rides like one in terms of comfort. Lauf has opted for some practicality. Hoses out, sun's out, guns out. And when you're packing a bike for travel, it's a lot easier if the hoses are out and not jammed inside an integrated cockpit. So they are willing to concede, yeah, you can lose a watt or two in a wind tunnel at high speed, but you're not losing your damn mind trying to pack the bike. Thanks, Corey.
No problem. Staying seated on this 14% grade is not the easiest.
You're earning that burrito.
Oh yeah, Mexican lunch.
Coming up. Not too shabby, right? Not too shabby at all. It feels nice and grippy coming downhill on fat tires. There are 32 Maxxis high roads. So both the State Allroad and this Lauf Úthald punch above their weight in terms of capability. Like the Allroad, as it's built, you know, can take up to a 45. In my book, that's more like a gravel bike. This guy, a road bike, can take up to 35s, which is more like an all-road bike. So it's nice to under-promise and over-deliver in terms of capability, I think. This bike's got a couple things going on. The Road Smoothie Bar, which has some flex built in. It's hard to demonstrate here, but this little footage from in my garage shows that better. And then the post in the frame has got some flex to it as well. They test that by loading up the saddle and seeing how much vertical deflection you get. Tucson has a lot of fantastic riding, both road and dirt. One downside about the Arizona riding is that there's a lot of healthy, hardy cracks in the road. So, a lot of locals will ride, 28s minimum on road bikes just to take off the edge of some of these cracks. So having some fat 32s in this Road Smoothie Bar feels pretty nice. Now we are down in Patagonia for some gravel riding, heading south, almost to Mexico. Sun is shining, the weather is sweet, make you want to spin your gravel feet. So the State Allroad. Got these Vittoria Terreno Zeros, 38s. Felt good on Tucson's rough pavement. Could go beefier for this Patagonia riding. And the frame will take up to 45s in the 700C. I just left them on. What type of trees are these skeleton looking guys?
I'm pretty sure they're white oak.
I'll buy it.
Big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a little bit of half.
State being consumer direct has a number of add-on options from racks to wheel upgrades, DT Swiss or Zip 303, $500, $1,300 respectively. These are the stock alloy. A lot of State branded product, including the saddle. While the clearance is all-road leaning gravel, the front end Geo's leaning a little bit more towards road or all-road at 72.5, so definitely on the steeper end for a chunky bike, certainly even steeper than that Lauf road bike, which is sub 72, but with a decent amount of rake and some plush tires, doesn't feel skittish. Weight-wise, it's not the lightest pony in the stable. It's like for this size 57, a 1,200 gram frame. No shame in that. Got rivets for days, which again, I would say screams more gravel and bike packing than all road. Not just the top tube underneath the down tube, but also 3 rivets on the fork. For those of you who are bike packing inclined or bike packing curious. This area in Patagonia, if you haven't been here, you should come check it out. The riding is fantastic and a little more varied, at least than I had expected the first time I came down here. This video is supported by the Cycling House, an excellent tour guide association based in Missoula, Montana, but with trips all around the world, including down here in Arizona. They provide a soup to nuts experience, including literal soup from professional chefs, hooking it up and cooking it up every day. Breakfast at the house, dinner at the house, and then lunch out here wherever the day may take you. Full supported guides who know their stuff, pro mechanics, often professional riders. It's a good time. I was down here last year with a Fast Cat camp, some coaches and some athletes, and evidently my behavior wasn't bad enough to get me disinvited from future events. So I enjoy spending time with these folks and recommend you checking them out. So you can't have it all, right? And one of the trade-offs of going with a more affordable bike like the State is that instead of getting name brand components, you're getting what would generously be called house brand and what would not so generously be called generic parts, whether that's the saddle or the bar, the stem, the wheels. Bottle cages look good enough, but they'd probably be rated more as all-road cages, not gravel cages, as I've lost a bottle a couple times on some rattly washboard descents. I think the bike looks good though. That's half the battle, right? I'm a fan of the Vittoria Terreno tires. There's the dry and the zero. Basically a slick or semi-slick center with a bit of bite on the sides, which for roads like this are fine. You're not turning that much, you don't need that much traction. And the fewer knobs you've got in the center, the less space, nooks and crannies there are for the mud to stick on. Beautiful sky today. Corduroy sky, corduroy road. Another trade-off with both of these bikes, since they're consumer direct, is that you're putting the puppies together yourself. And if you're unsure about the sizing, yeah, both companies have help online. You can give them a call, but that's still a different story than, you know, going into a bike shop, sitting on the thing, seeing how it feels. So direct to consumer is usually best if you've already got a pretty good idea of what size you, oh, almost put myself in the mud there. Send it.
Send it. Oh,
No, not like that. I meant over there. Hey, Corey, can I ask you to turn the camera, turn your bike around? Yeah. There we go, yeah. I don't know if the mic is going or not, but you know, I would hate to fall in the creek and not have it captured. So for posterity's sake, it's always better to point forward. Thank you. Quite refreshing.
feels good. That's pretty chilly. There's a hole in the ground there.
Comedy's all about timing, and you nailed it, my friend.
Oh yeah, I'm here all week.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So the State Allroad and the Lauf Úthald, both consumer direct bikes, both bikes that undersell their capabilities in terms of tire clearance and overall performance. This has not been an apples to apples test. The Allroad skews a bit larger, skews a bit more towards gravel, whereas this is a road bike that Lauf puts up against, you know, straight ahead road race bikes and also some endurance bikes. However, I hope this video has given you some context about how these two compare to each other and your general options out there on the drop bar market. The State Allroad can be a great bike for someone who wants a road bike and a gravel bike, but only has got the budget to do one. The Lauf Úthald is a quick and comfy road bike, and like the gravel machines from this Icelandic brand, certainly thumbs its nose at the status quo. The Road Smoothie Bar works. It's not anywhere close to the feeling you get from a flexi stem like a Redshift or even the Future Shock on a Specialized Roubaix or Diverge. It just can't absorb bumps that quickly. For the record, I definitely prefer the Future Shock to the Redshift just because it keeps the angle of your wrists the same. Redshift will pitch you forward, whereas the Future Shock, you know, keeps it in the same flat plane. Another plus of the Road Smoothie Bar is simply the shape. You've got a flat, wider area to disperse the pressure. Compare that to the skinnier, narrow diameter of this alloy bar, and the pressure is more concentrated. So even if the vibrations coming up, the shocks coming up are the same, you're gonna feel it more in a more concentrated area on a skinnier bar. The wider the top of the bar though, the harder it can be to grip, especially for those with small hands. So like everything in cycling, it's about finding that balance that works for you. Obviously some big differences riding these two back to back. Having some plush 38s absorbs more chatter than a frame can. However, the back end of this bike is noticeably more comfortable with more flex than the alloy post can possibly keep up with. Similarly up front, the cockpit on the Lauf with the Road Smoothie Bar is, to my hands, more comfortable than a skinny alloy bar on the State. Both are consumer direct, which means you can save some money and also means you cannot sit on these bikes to tell how well the thing fits you. That's just a reality you cannot get around with consumer direct bikes. I'll put links to both of these bikes below if you want to check one or both out. If you found this video helpful, please take a second to click subscribe and click like. That helps me out. If you've got any questions, leave them below. I will do my best to answer. Whether you like a road bike or something a little more like a gravel bike, I hope you can get out there and enjoy the ride.